Okay.
Hey, good to see you, Leipen. How are you? Hendrik, how are you?
I'm fine. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Nice.
So, welcome everybody to the Rchain active member meeting. And there's one more. Yeah, hello Jason. And okay, so what I want to start with is the board meeting of Monday. I had an extremely hard time to defend the bounty program. And Jim writes cover also. So, hello Jim. Let me do my hair so a bit more nicer. So Jim, I just was telling about the board meeting of last Monday. And I had an extremely hard time to defend the bounty program because the board still thinks that we don't do anything. So, and there was a budget call, and it was the budget for 2018, and proposed was $1 million. Oh, wait a minute. Kid Lake. And yeah, hello kids. So, okay. So, yeah, I was just telling that I had an extremely difficult time in the board meeting of last Monday. And that was because the budget was for all the things were proposed, suggested in the draft mode. And then for the bounty program, there was $1 million for the whole year. And of course, it's paid in rock. And I was estimating that we needed $20 million. So there was 20 times as much. It is a huge gap. So then I got a lot of critique on the program itself, and almost from everybody in the board, because we don't manage to do useful things. So they still refer to the translating problem, but we have done a lot of other things. So the idea is to set up a report for the, oh, wait a minute. Lucius Meredith is also joining. Aha. That's nice to see you, Greg, in this meeting. Okay, he's gone also. Participants, panelist. Yeah. Okay, he showed up and he disappeared. But okay. So the idea is to make a report, and in that report we have to show that we are doing useful things, and maybe that will change the mind of the board. So I I think I will create an issue for it. Alan Cooper is also joining. And then I expect everybody to help me to get this report together. And then I can present it, or I invite somebody else to present it in the board. And well, then we will see what happens. And it's extremely, it's a pity, because we are just about to professionalize the system. So until now, we have not been looking a lot at results, but we have made a trust metric, and based on that, we can manage a lot of things. So we can give different authority to certain members who have a master degree, and those people can, for example, slash budgets and rewards. So, but for April, this was not on, but for May, it will be. So, I give the floor to you, and let me hear what you would think about this.
Rchain, could you just give a one-sentence summary of what you've said?
Yeah, okay. So last Monday, we had a board meeting, and the whole board was against the bounty program. And they think it's a waste of money, and they want more or less to stop the program. So that's in short our position. So we have a challenge.
Rchain, could you, the meeting minutes, have those been published yet or not?
Not yet. And
so since the meeting minutes have not been published, can you tell us, to the best of your recollection, exactly what was said?
Yeah, so it was rather late. It was at 11 o'clock in the evening for me. And that's why I attended only for 3/4 of an hour. So I was present at the first two subjects, and the first subject was having a co-op in Berlin, and somebody was invited from Berlin, and she has experience with setting up co-ops. So, and she told that
Rchain, can you just be specific to the discussion of the bounty program? Who said what in what order? Do you remember? I'll check to see if the board minutes have been published, as they are required to be within 2 days or so of the board meeting, but they were not published at the time that I looked last.
Yeah. So probably those minutes won't state who has been saying what. It's only a draft of decisions, and then then you see who is who has voted for the motion or against it. So let me be a bit more clear. I think our legal advisor, Evan, he was strongly against the whole program. And okay.
So, you know, the challenge we have to do a justification doesn't sound like a bad thing. It sounds like something we need anyway, or we
Yeah.
should have. Um,
Yeah,
It would
that's
be
true.
good if it was composed in a Google document where we can comment. Um, and easiest for most people to participate as opposed to GitHub, which unfortunately a lot of us are brain damaged in using.
Yeah. So I think the report should mention all the things that we've been working on, also the problems we had and how we solved those problems, and also the potential of the program. And yeah, so
if I can be permitted to speak for a moment, I have been working very hard, as a matter of fact, on what I think is going to be the next step. I've kind of characterized the bounty program as having been done so far in terms of HJ's initial sprint and the current sprint, which is spearheaded, I think, by Dan Connolly. And I've kind of outlined a third sprint. I have it almost ready to publish as an issue within the bounty system. And I would like to do that. And I think that this is a mechanism for us to address many of the problems with the bounty system. Taking a step backwards, I'm not sure what the motivation is by Evan or by other counsel. My impression from David Otto is exactly the opposite. My impression is that the bounty system represents cooperation in the cooperative. It represents participation, and it's exactly a core program to our cooperative. So I'm not sure what the various advice has been, but we should be able to find out what it's been, who said what, and we should be able to speak about the bounty program, which does represent participation in the cooperative. That's what the cooperative is about.
yeah, so David Otto clarified the position of Evan.
Yes, in fact, part of David Otto's legal premise about the cooperative is that since it is a cooperation among members, that keeps it fairly safe from potential attack vectors from the Security and Exchange Commission. And I'm not going to try to explain it in detail, but he gave a talk at the governance conference that went into a lot of detail about his thinking in terms of his initial advice to organize Rchain as a cooperative. And what Alan just said, that the bounty system is an example of that member collaboration, that's something we should track down. I hope it's on video. And it's a good fundamental point in terms of arguing to continue with the bounty system. In terms of the recent critique from the board, I think what Jim said is really true. It's not a problem that they ask us to justify the program. And I think if we create a report, then we can use the labels or the functional areas, as some people have called them, as categories within the report. And well, it's actually on the agenda for today, but recently Peter has been pushing to get a number of guides for every area, every label. Let's just call it a label for now. So you have marketing and operations and all these different labels. And what we want is we want to have 3 guides on every label so that if somebody gets sick or goes on vacation, somebody else becomes the designated driver. And those people, in my opinion, should contribute to the monthly report where we say, this is what we achieved this month. In marketing, we did 1, 2, 3. In operations, we did 1, 2, 3. And we can make such a report at the end of every month and supply it to, well, the public, actually, anybody who's interested, but especially the dubious people on the board. That's my thinking.
Yeah, I think Kit's spot on. When I handled resources that were offsite or across the seas or things like that, captive or offshore development centers, one of the biggest challenges I ran into was making sure that my customers had a strong sense of the progress we're making. I think it's kind of, in a way, boils down to the, I don't see you working and I don't see you, punching a clock, so I don't know, and therefore I assume the worst. And if our legal counsel is doing that, he's doing his job. So that's not a bad thing in a way. But yeah, I think we need our reports. I think that, and maybe we could do it on the 15th instead of at the end of the month, so that that way they kind of get it mid-month and they get a sense of, oh man, look at all the stuff they did since last month. It doesn't have to necessarily be accounting, although it's accounting related. But yeah, I think it's reports. I think you're spot on there. If we could give them a little better visibility, I don't know, eventually if we go to a dashboard, yeah, I think that's the key.
And I think we need more presence in the Wednesday hangout of Greg. So I'm looking for somebody who could do that.
Oh, you mean like the 11 o'clock, the one after this?
Yeah, just 5 minutes.
Well, it ain't gonna be me. I don't know enough about bounties, but maybe not.
Yeah.
HJ, I have a proposal which I am about to file called Principled Rewards for Active Contributors. It explains the relation to ROC, the relation to our structure as a cooperative, and it explains the fact that the bounty system is a work in progress. And I would like to report in the community debrief as to the progress we are making in the bounty system. So I don't know how particularly to get in the agenda. Do I just raise my hand in the community debrief? But I'm going to file the issue right now, and all of you can take a look at it. And I'd like to report on it in the community debrief, because I think the bounty system is the core of us being a cooperative. It's the way that we participate. The ROC is a ledger of our mutual participation. And the bounty system is just central to what we're doing.
Yeah, and for getting, it's not enough to raise your hand in the debrief. You have to interrupt. So you have to interrupt Greg, for example, when he is doing his blah blah, and quite roughly. So that's an advice if you want to do it after this meeting.
Okay, well, if I interrupt, please help signal to Greg or whoever it is that moderates the meeting that we would like to speak about the bounty program and about the progress we've been making.
And do it not in the end, but like maybe after the technical meeting or so, or the technical update of Meta. That's a good moment, I think.
So how do we arrive at the Meta moment? Do I DM Meta? Do I DM Greg? What's the best way of doing it? Do I just speak up?
Yes. Greg will pause for a long time and then say silence is golden. Before that time, anybody can speak. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's wonderful. That's a good timing. So just speak up before the silence is golden.
And we agree that we want to have that sort of verbal meeting moment presence as well as a written, right? So like we're going to immediately address the hello, here's some progress, but then also we got to follow up with a written thing, right? Right?
Yeah, that's the current status. We're doing a justification.
So I am going to report about the bounty system in general, progress in the bounty system in general, and sprint, what I'm calling sprint 3. Does Dan or anybody here want to discuss in 1 or 2 sentences as to the progress we've been making in sprint 2 and the work that we're doing in 616 and such?
I've met a Prezi about the bounty program since the beginning. So I can give you the link and then yeah, you can go through it. Maybe it's helpful.
Okay, good. I will include that link in the meeting itself.
Yeah, just type it in the chat box and then you can see, you can just say, well, here's an overview and also the planning for 2018.
One comment about the teams, the working groups overseeing the bounties. I don't know how many people are involved in that, but I've sort of overlapped with Dan a bit in developing a page, which I should give you the link to. Where you can select the category of Git issues and link to the issue. It shows the when it was last updated. And I didn't get around yet to putting a link to the bounty system, which is I'm holding off on to see if my work is overlapping with Dan's on this. But for today, which is the last day, you can propose a bounty, propose a reward for the month of April. You can choose a category and participate in the bounty system.
I have to correct you, Jim. The April is frozen from today on.
Oh.
And until the 8th, it was possible to make changes. So we are now in the period of May.
Whoops. Well.
Normally it's not a problem because you can just, the work you've done, you can claim your bounty in May.
Yeah.
Just vote on your old subject.
I've just filed issue 677, which is called Principled Rewards in the Bounty System, and addresses our evolution in making the bounty program responsive, producing value, and other issues that on a common sense basis, I would see as requiring to be addressed.
Sweet.
Wow, you are a fast typer, Alan. You busted that out in like 2 minutes. Man.
It actually represents 4 months of work.
I was going to say this. This is not a new bump in the road, is it?
All right. Well, thanks for posting.
I'm a little bit surprised that Dan and some of the other people, P. Mormon and so on, aren't on this particular call. Ian, Evan Jensen, I'm a little bit surprised that they're not here.
Well, Dan is at work, so we won't hear from him. And Peter, I don't know. I actually met Peter. That's some news we have, but he and I had a pizza and then a couple beers together. And one of the things he said, which is that he's too many meetings in his agenda, and I completely understand. I'm feeling the same way, but let me just show this issue because it is on the agenda. This is the issue that he posted to get 3 guides for each area. This is where we are right now. And so the ones with a check mark, like marketing and member site, they already have 3 or more. And some of the other ones need a second or third, depending on, most of them need a third. So this will hopefully fill out and we'll have 3. And as I suggested earlier, I think these are the people who should be responsible for helping put together the report, which we could definitely do on the 15th. That might be good because the end of the month tends to be rather busy with minute budget and reward work. So yeah, if anybody wants to jump in on one of these, then it's issue number 672, and feel free to post. And I think Peter will be happy to add you. And we do have some problems in terms of the running of the bounty system. People are still trying to game it, and we're getting games at the end of the month, which is one of the attack surfaces that was noted earlier by some people. So it's happening, and we really do need to move on and get to the use of the trust metric. So all I'll say is that we need to make that happen in this coming month.
Yeah, today.
Yeah, well, I mean, May has to be running on the trust metric. That's the point.
Yeah. Because
the gaming is still going on, and I don't want to go into any detail, but it's happening. So it's a problem.
Yeah, and this is one of the main irritations of the board. So we have to manage it.
Yeah, exactly. It's our problem. So let me just, since I'm sharing, show you the current state of the member site.
Sorry, Kit, before you move on, would it be okay for me to include a short report from you on past activities, past attacks, attack vectors that we're, attack surfaces that we're currently addressing?
I don't think that's a good idea. I'm actually quoting Dan, and I'm not sure where he got that information. So we should wait and talk to him.
No, I'm not saying whether it's a reason or not. I'm saying that we have a historical analysis of where we believe that the system has been attacked and what mistakes have been made. And I think that we should be transparent about those, and as well as what we're trying to do about them.
Yeah, let's do that in the report, like somebody suggested. I think that's a good idea, to be transparent about it and show
Is
that we're
there a
working.
link to a report which I may include?
Maybe.
We have to be somewhat careful about exposing our vulnerabilities.
Yeah, I mean, let's be careful. It's like the heat is on right now, and the board does not want to hear any more bad news. So I think we should tread carefully with talking about our vulnerabilities at this point.
Yes, we can talk. We can talk about our efforts to inhibit gaming of the system. I mean, that's reasonable.
Jim, could you write a brief description of our efforts to inhibit gaming?
Yeah, so
I think it's more a matter of, in the description of the system, mention where it reduces gaming. I don't know. I think
one of the messages is up to everybody, is that you can downvote a reward or a budget. So, but most people don't do that. They just put the same amount for the budget as initially has been done, and also for the rewards.
So one of the things that I've contemplated to partially address this particular surface is currently there's a voting system that Dan put together, but it has no track for comments and analysis. And so when I spoke to him about that, he told me that the comments are made within GitHub and the voting is done in a separate app. And one of the tasks in 677 is to bring those together so that comments and voting can be done simultaneously and people can understand what the issues are. Yeah,
so what I suggest is that you first give a vote to somebody for his reward or for the budget, and then you start talking about it. Because if you first start to talk about it, then you don't change anything. So first vote and then talk.
Hey guys, can I introduce myself? I kind of have to go just now. My son's in the background. How you all? I'm Crypto Videos. I'm Evan by name. I've been doing a couple of video promotions over the last while for the co-op. Good, thank you. So I don't have anywhere near as much experience as you guys. I mean, I'm sitting here feeling a little bit drowned, so to speak. I'm still learning the processes and getting the hang of things. I read some of the comments and the issues and whatnot. I just want to leave my 2 cents. It might not even be important to you guys, but I just thought it'd be a nice thing just for you guys that are up there to listen to someone from my perspective that's come in to offer services and some of the challenges I've found whilst joining the co-op. And these will tie in with the rewards bounty program thing. It will come together. So the first thing, it was quite a mission to, become a member, all the registration processes and whatnot. It was quite daunting for me as someone that wanted to provide a service in order to promote this co-op and to make it look good through the skill sets that I've brought along. At one stage, I was kind of discouraged, and I thought, no, this is not right. But I kind of just persevered, and looking back now, it wasn't actually that bad. It was just probably my impatience, having to go through all of these procedures. Anyways, once on board, finding, like you guys were saying, with regards to getting budgets and votes and all the rest of that, one of the things I found recently, for the last 2 issues, I haven't had I haven't had any problems. It's actually gone quite smoothly. Just to give you an idea, I had a recent an idea for the co-op whereby I wanted to sort of create this really nice reel. I'm talking from a video marketing perspective, so bear with me. And when I proposed the budget, I found that guys were suddenly drawn to want to assist now and get involved, which isn't something I'm used to. You know, I've run a digital marketing agency, and normally we just go full steam ahead. We get the job done, we deliver the goods, and we're out, you know? So it's been quite a learning curve for me to understand that that's the co-op's vision, that we all collaborate and put in together.
That's not true. If you can do it yourself, then go ahead.
Okay, so this is where I was getting a little bit concerned, and it actually, I read some comment somewhere where someone said something quite valuable, saying that things need to get approved, number one, when they're done. So say now it was a marketing function. There should be an officer or someone higher up, or a team maybe, that passes this product, like my video, for argument's sake. They go, yes, this is in fact good quality, and yes, this does deserve the reward. So that there's some sort of a governance. Hear me out, I might be completely wrong, because you might get someone that's not as skilled that comes and delivers something, but it's actually probably damaging to the co-op in terms of its visual, presentation. Yet the guys could be trying to milk the system and get as much as they can for that. If there was a structure in place or some sort of an approval system where guys could say, yes, that does deserve that reward, or no, you're completely out. That was the one thing I was thinking about. The second thing was, do you think that when people, like say now I just created an issue and I thought it was fair to ask for $10,000, just picking a number. And then suddenly out of the woodwork, 10 people want to start contributing. Whereas before, if the budget had only been for $200, no one would have said a thing and I would have just gone about my work. How do you guys, or how does the co-op decides if that person says, yes, get involved, you 10 can also now contribute to this issue? How do you divide up that budget to each participant? Does that make sense, my question?
Evan, I'm sorry. Without answering your question, I am going to invite you to write your perspective in. I have a folder that's dedicated to members just asking questions like that, so that people can understand.
Okay, cool. Yeah, sorry, I wasn't aware of that.
Your first question.
I just created it.
Okay, awesome. Jim.
Your first question, if you have a marketing issue, okay, it's going to be reviewed by 3 people, and you can see their names there.
Okay, cool.
Okay, second question, when you submit an issue, you are submitting, in essence, a project plan.
Yes, completely.
Okay, so there, you can specify opportunities for others to participate or not.
Okay. Thank you for that, Tim. I'll tell you why, and just to reiterate what you're saying, and I won't say much else, guys. I'll be out here. I've got to attend to my family. But if I did that project like you were saying, in my brain, I would have requested a budget knowing the amount of work just from me that would have need to have been done. Should another contributor say that theirs is just as important, yet it might be a minimal task, but they're trying to get a bigger. Do you know what I'm saying? So what you've said there kind of clears it up.
So there will be more guidelines for if you include participants or if you include only yourself.
Okay, cool.
So, but if you have suggestions for it, please come up. And
yeah, I think we might want to add questions on that in the template.
Yeah.
So there won't be confusion.
I think the month of May will be much more management style. So, and we have to also to work towards results, and the budget should be in balance with the results.
All right, cool. Sorry. And then HJ, when you open up the meeting, you mentioned something about you need to do a presentation to the board, whatever the case was. If you need a hand with that, with regards to any sort of motion graphic work with infographics or, budget sort of things, just chat to me. I can probably give you a hand with that to make your job a little bit easier. So you're welcome to reach out and, I can help, because I do like financial reports and stuff for companies, and they pretty much get me involved to present for them, in terms of what I did.
I think Ellen is our spokesman at the moment. So if there's something to be presented, then please get in touch with him. And it should be based on his report.
Okay, cool. Thanks, guys. Thanks for bearing with me. Still learning the ropes.
Okay, cheers, man.
All right, cheers.
So, Kit, let's go back to you.
Okay, I had to find my user interface again. So, yeah, we have progress on the member site. It's now running in this temporary Rchain domain, but that means it should be a bit faster. And the content at the top levels is pretty far along. This is what we wanted to have on the home page. There's a bunch of small details that need to be worked out, but we have some sub pages and about. We have a page about the bounties, and this later will be not bounties, but it'll be membership. Right now, the only content we have is for bounties. But here's Crypto Video's video and explanation of how it works, and pointers to developer and coding resources. And get involved is where the call to action goes. So these get involved buttons all go here, and here they basically tell you what you're going to need before you start to do the registration. And the holes are actually on this lower level, like down here on the ecosystem. We have Pythia and Reflective and Power Effects, but the content is all lorem ipsum at this point. So if anybody wants to contribute, it's these sub-pages down here that are either partially or almost completely incomplete. So you can see more lorem ipsum here, and the same goes if I go to this tokens page. This is basically the same thing that's in GitHub, just cut and pasted into here, and we need more information about the tokens because lots of people are going to be asking questions about it. So that's the tour. And the last point is, if anybody has any critique, we really want to hear that now and not later. So please have a look, and there's an issue about it. I think it's 595. 595 deals with the content, and then there's another issue that deals with the design and layout. But whatever you need to comment on, then please do it. And that completes my tour of the site. So I'll stop the share.
6:15 is for the design and layout.
Yes.
So I have also a question about the main site. Who is running this site? If you want to change things or so.
It's Trick that manages it, as far as I know, but other people like Peter Moorman also have editing rights.
Okay. Okay. I see there's an update. Yeah. Wonderful. Okay. Who takes the floor, please? Come on, guys. Give some updates or nice stories or whatever.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
A little bit of irony in having Pink Floyd money in the background as we talk about this stuff, isn't there? What else should we be talking about, HJ and Kit and Jim? I have to say this is the third time I've tried to dial into this and the first time I've actually succeeded in being through the whole thing. Yes, as both you guys know, because you met me at governance, maybe all three of you met me at governance in February, I'm all in, I'm over my head, and I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. But what else do we do in this meeting as opposed to like the big readout that happens starting at 11? So I think this is really important. And I'd love, because issues don't really come up at 11. And some of the things that are problems don't necessarily come up at 11. But of course, if we don't surface them and address them, then we'll never succeed. So
yeah. So that's very interesting, Jamie, because we are looking for a lead of this meeting. So you're right that it's not very substantial, or let's say, yeah, what we talk about here, it's sometimes it makes sense and sometimes it doesn't. So, and what we would like to see is that we have to make decisions and discuss problems and discuss solutions and things like that. So
I think you underestimate it, really. I mean, we do cover what's on people's mind. I think that, in a cooperative, it's, people have to learn to lead more than follow and in meetings like this, we really want to hear, address everybody's concerns and what they're interested in. I mean, I could update us on the Doug Rushkoff conference with Rchain happening next Thursday.
So I have a suggestion. Perhaps Evan and Jim Cook and Jim, we could take this offline and figure out who wants to moderate the next meeting, and they could be a little bit more organized about preparing the agenda and debriefs and whatever else it is we need to do about the bounty system.
I'm not sure why we don't do that right now. We have 10 minutes.
I think that what, reading between the lines of what HJ just said, he'd like some help doing that, and I would be happy to step up. I think that somebody like Jim or Evan, we could do that. We could do that together. We can make it work nicely, and I think HJ will still be involved, but somebody might be a moderator.
Yeah, well, we had Rao and Ameka take on the lead here, and as you can see, they're not here. So if you're willing to be a lead, Alan.
Okay, I'm going to sign up for that, and I'm going to contact some other people that I think might be better qualified or whatever, but I'll sign up for having a lead for the next RAM meeting. And if nobody else, yeah, so one of us will do it.
Awesome.
Awesome. Wonderful. I'm looking forward to the next meeting.
Okay, yeah, Alan, I'd like to help. It'll help me learn more and get more plugged in. I mean, my main engagement through Kenny and the Rchain is about Maker, stablecoin, Psi specifically. How do we get that? How do we map that to our structure and infrastructure? How do we make sure that as we make progress, we're able to incrementally move forward with having Maker on Rchain? But as anyone with 15 minutes of coding experience will attest, we're really ahead of the wave on that. It's going to take us months. So I'd like to continue to add value in lots of different ways. So Alan, I think I just sent you my handle, @SJamieCook, so we can connect. I'm @JamieCook on Gmail and Discord and GitHub, everything.
Awesome, thanks.
Thank you. All right. Well, so what else should we hit in 9 minutes, gents? You know, although we have a phone, we have someone who's like dialed in on the phone, so they don't have a panel box. Maybe the phone person would like to jump in on the call or say something.
The phone person has disappeared.
Okay, I don't have that part up on my dashboard anymore. Okay, never mind.
So do we get an 8-minute break, or is there anything on anybody's mind?
Well, I like to get a smoke outside, so.
Really, because it looks like 2 of our contributors have already hit that point.
Yeah, well, one last point. I talked with Donald today on Discord, and I think he has a slow connection, but he talked to me about a bunch of work they did creating subtitles, and they were ready to go, but they haven't been uploaded yet on YouTube. And I don't know how YouTube works, but somebody somewhere should be responsible for uploading those things. And I'm wondering, who can we ask about that?
Was it the Rchain main channel?
Yeah, Christian controls it.
Yeah.
I heard that Patrick controls the main Rchain channel.
Okay. Because there's also the recordings of this meeting, they have to be moved to the channel also. Because they are now on my own channel and well.
Yeah, yeah. I just put it in the chat. One of them was the Rchain Vision video, and then there's others, and I'm not sure which ones. But it sounds like we should go for Patrick, Donald, and maybe we can track down who's supposed to be dealing with that stuff. So we'll go after Patrick. I'll put it in the notes. Okay, I would really like to take a break before the meeting.
Yeah. Okay. So let's close this meeting. I hope to see you all next week, and then we have an excellent lead, Ellen G. Cooper. Bye bye.
Ciao.